Does anybody else love Trans-Siberian Orchestra? That's Christmas for me. Well, the classics also, but Trans-Siberian Orchestra. What are they playing? I don't even know my instruments. I just feel music. I know nothing about music.
Avatar Fire and Ash.
Ooh, Avatar. I'm going to see it tonight. Who else loves Trans-Siberian Orchestra? I love Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It's the best. Hey everybody, Chad Taylor with the Vegas Podcast, VP of Las Vegas, and it's been a few weeks since I've been on, so hello. How are you? Had a busy couple of weeks. I put out a few episodes. I think first and foremost, Presley Aronson was on. If you guys haven't watched this episode, go check it out. Lily Grace I had on. She's from Australia. Adorable young lady, amazing voice. I actually had my wife interview her, so go check out that interview as well. And then I had Joni Moss on. Joni Moss is a local Las Vegas wedding planner. And she's more than that, probably events, weddings, you name it. But Joni Moss is something special, just as from a human standpoint and the energy that woman puts off. If you're coming to Las Vegas or traveling to Las Vegas and you want to know something about weddings, talk to Joni Moss. She's got an episode a couple back. Check that one out as well. And then I dropped a clip that was like, or I dropped an episode that was my first episode. It was going to be the Vegas Podcast first episode. And it was a little bit more rowdy than they have been. So I didn't, and I waited about a year and then I dropped it. It was with Kory McDonaugh. He's a local bartender here in Las Vegas, and he is entertaining. He is entertaining as all hell. And a few of the shorts that were cut up absolutely went crazy. And speaking of that, if you're still here, it means you're interested. So click that subscribe button for me. You wouldn't believe it. There's like 315 subscribers on the Vegas Podcast on YouTube, which is the only place that I do the podcast. And in the last 4 weeks, there's been over 500,000 views across 6 platforms. So 315 subscribers, but almost 500,000 views across all of the platforms with 300 or 400 watch hours. And that's pretty crazy. The world of online marketing, social media changes every month. I learn something new and more every single month, and I'm in the business, so I get it. You know, this podcast is my therapy session. I've told you guys that. I do it weekly to try and keep up with what I do. But all of it has a marketing element to it, and I have to continue to do that. I've had a lot of friends approach me about helping them get set up across the social medias, marketing, podcasting, that kind of stuff. I have a full-time job. I don't have a ton of time, but I will always give you some feedback or some helpful advice, if that's what it's called, or insights on how to get stuff done. So feel free to ask. Just know I got a full-time gig that keeps me very busy. Speaking of that, I traveled up to Oregon for a Winterfest last week. I also went up to the Nevada Governor's Conference, which was quite amazing, which I want to talk about just a little bit. And I have a few notes here. And then I came back today and did an interview with Fox 5 out at Hoover Dam to talk about Rafting with Santa that's happening out there right now. And NFR is over in Las Vegas. We are done. That was fun. The interviews were fun. Meeting the new talent was enjoyable. So I want to talk a little about someone I met, Nicole Porter, who is the Vice President of Political Affairs at the U.S. Travel Association. She was at the Nevada's Governor's Conference. And I don't know her well. I now know of her. And let me just say, she represents the U.S. Travel Association very well. She's very well spoken. I found her very kind and very knowledgeable, and there's some insights that I'm going to share with you. And actually, let's just share them right now. I think it's important. I'm not going to repeat specific metrics, but I'll take you what I got, or the gist from the conversation of Nicole presenting at the Governor's Conference. Is essentially 2025, Nevada will see a slight decrease in visitation, which we all know. Fine. But the forward years looking ahead, with the major events coming, already are looking up. And then I wanted to break down a chart that I don't have, but picture this. 1.1 trillion in spending in tourism in the United States. Almost 800 billion of that is domestic travel for those of us that live here and travel here. 180 of that is business travel. And then another 180 of that was actually international travel. So if you think about that in the large scale of things, 1.1 or 1.2 trillion in tourism, 3/4 of it darn near is made up of everybody in the United States traveling. Only 180 billion out of the 1.1 trillion, I believe is the way I heard it, is international travel. So when we say international travel is down a little bit, it is. And if we're feeling a pinch, that's the pinch we're feeling, because the majority of it, almost $1 trillion, is business travel in America and essentially citizens or locals or Americans traveling throughout America. One other thing I thought was very unique that I heard was there are 2 reasons that people come to America to travel. One is culture, American culture. I thought that was very unique, and I like to hear that. The second were state and federal parks. Now that's huge. So if there's 2 main reasons people come to America, which is to experience American culture, and 2 is to visit the state and national parks, I would say that I'm in the right business. Obviously, I work for a company, a concession specialist, and we get to operate in state and federal parks. And we are continuing to see visitation increase at those parks, even when international tourism is down. So that means Americans are going out to parks more often. And to that, there's a good stat that I just got some numbers yesterday from the horse's mouth, should you say, that the parks in Nevada specifically, the lowest visitation was seen in the Las Vegas area, and specifically the Lake Mead National Recreation Area, which I find very unique. And numbers were as of October. By the end of the year, we can say that visitation to Nevada state parks will be flat and up in most of the territories, or what they call regions. So you can take that one to the bank. Visitation to state parks in Nevada will be flat and in some places up. So overall, up in visitation. I think that's a big deal. I think that people are getting outdoors more. And, you know, I love to push the youth outdoors. I think nature heals everything, and we need to get kids outdoors more often. We have like a 7 or 8 month summer here that you can be outside. There's probably 2 months you don't want to be outside unless you're at the lake in the summer. And there's probably 2 months in the winter that's a little bit cold and windy that you don't want to be outside. But this year, that's not the case. So Nicole Porter, kudos to you and all the information we got, and for speaking at the governor's conference. That was fantastic. There was also Ginny Wood. She had written a book called Wild Courage. She was a Google executive, I believe. And again, I'm going to paraphrase. I'm just going to give you what I learned from it, because at the end of the day, this is my podcast and my opinion, and only I can get in trouble for it. But what I took from this was, number one, Ginny Wood was a very good storyteller. So if you know anybody that wants to read a good book, her book is called Wild Courage, and she knows how to tell stories. And she told a story that will stick with me forever, and how she told it will stick with me forever. So I learned a little bit about storytelling from her, and I appreciate it. It's quite interesting when people step outside of their comfort zone and actually chase what they really want and go get it. So kudos to her. Overseas visitation, Las Vegas and the United States, both. I actually want to read some stats to you real quick. So if you're watching, you can just close your eyes, because I'm going to cheat for a second. I'm going to read these stats from my phone. But overseas visitor arrivals, again, data directly from the U.S. Travel Association. So incoming into the United States, the largest decrease we saw is obviously Canada, and we all know that. But second would be Germany, followed by Switzerland Ecuador, Netherlands, France, South Korea, Australia, India, China, and the Dominican Republic. All 10 of those, we saw a decrease, with Germany at 11.8% and China at like 3.1%, which I find very interesting because I feel like we don't see a lot of the Chinese travelers in Las Vegas currently, and I could be wrong, but I was surprised by that. So it doesn't seem like it's probably true. They may not be coming to Vegas. They might be going to LA, New York, Seattle, you name it. But those are the 10, and that's how far they're down. So like 11.8% for Germany and Canada were the top two. As far as some growth from other countries, I found this unique as well, but interesting. Dominican Republic, a little bit of growth. Ireland, United Kingdom, and we started a nonstop flight from Las Vegas to Ireland and from Ireland back. So if you live in Las Vegas or you live in Ireland, there is, I believe now, a nonstop flight that goes back and forth. And we need, when I say we as a city, I would love to promote that because I would love to hop on a flight and just run to Ireland at the end of every month or something. I don't know, something like that. But United Kingdom, Brazil, UK, which we advertise in the UK for sure, Brazil, Spain, Colombia, all increase around 1.2 to 2%. The next big jump will be Italy. It looks like we're seeing a lot of travel from Italy coming in. Then Colombia, which, well, actually, no, Colombia was before Italy at 2%. And then Italy is 5.6%. And then next is Japan. So Japan, Taiwan, Israel, with everything that's going on, I'm not surprised. And then Argentina would be the largest growth at like 16% coming into the United States. So I thought that was very, very interesting and wanted to share that with you because that's year over year change. So while you have 10 countries that we saw a decrease in tourism, there's 10 countries that we're seeing an increase in tourism. So I think that goes to things ebb and flow. And everything you see online is sometimes not always what you think it might be. The World Cup and the Olympics is going to be driving a ton of business over the next 3 years. Quite a few major events. The FIFA, obviously, and we talked about that a little bit. So the outlook for tourism in the United States looks positive. I did confirm that there was $100 million allocated from the United States government to an agency to market America to the rest of the world. And that was cut by 80%. So it was cut by $80 million, so to $20 million. So us going out and promoting ourselves to the rest of the world was slashed. To think that we've only seen a slight decrease that we have without that spending is interesting, to say the least. But I know everybody is pushing extremely heavily to get that marketing back, especially since the marketing company that markets America, which I believe is Brand USA, works directly with the LVCVA, or the Las Vegas Visitors Convention and Visitors Authority. And then the LVCVA and Travel Nevada work together. And then Travel Nevada works with the territories, and territory works with all the municipalities and counties throughout the state. So there's this transfer or this shared media across all of them, and it's important that we get to take part in that. There's a lot of companies in Las Vegas that get to go on familiarization tours, or tours that take the businesses from Las Vegas to other cities, and we market ourselves together. So we'll continue to keep our eye on that and see if they're going to get funded again or if that slows down at all. I feel like I want to talk about a few other things. I told you, the Vegas podcast is about Las Vegas and Nevada both. It just happens to be the Vegas podcast. But like in the interview today, there is so much to do off of this strip that we love the strip, but we also love everything to do off the strip. There is a new economic impact study that was sent to me that was done by the Nevada Division of Outdoor Recreation. There is a beautiful person by the name of Denise Baronio. She works for the Nevada Division of Outdoor Rec in Northern Nevada, and she sent me an outdoor economic impact study, which I presented today on Fox 5 a little bit. And I'm going to put that in the description of this YouTube video so that everybody can access it. And there's a few important takeaways that I want you to have from it. Is number one, outdoor recreation produces, I think, almost $24 billion towards the economy in the state of Nevada. It also represents almost 75,000 jobs, which I think is substantial. And for the first time that I'm hearing, I believe outdoor recreation has eclipsed and bypassed mining in its contribution to the state. Those are all very unique and important attributes to what's happening. It's telling you that the diversification of Nevada is happening. The diversification of our cities and our state driving into that outdoor recreation space, doubling down on it, and the investments made that's happening is working because the numbers are showing it. So for everybody who wants to travel to Las Vegas, know that there is just as much off the strip as there is on the strip. And I might actually do a page for you on the Vegas Podcast website to list all those. But for now, go to travelnevada.com. There is no better website than travelnevada.com. Go there and check out what there is to do when you come to Las Vegas. The OAI, Outdoor Industry Association, there's so many acronyms and associations, but they're coming out with a study that's about to release here in the next month. As a little sneak preview, hiking with over 63 million participants is the #1 outdoor recreation activity. Now, if we say that that's #1, how many places in America can you hike? Quite a few. How many places in America have over 300 mountain ranges of BLM land that you can access and hike? 0? Wait, 1. Nevada. The most mountainous range. That's Nevada. We have more places to get outdoors. And I'll tell you a little secret. If you want to know about a truly overplayed word of a hidden gem in Nevada, go visit Kyle Horvath up in Ely. He sits as some sort of tourism director, administrator, overseer. I forget his exact position with Nevada, but go see Kyle Horvath in Ely. And I'm telling you now, mark my words, it is the Aspen of Nevada. And I'm going to be the first to say it. And you can take that to the bank. Ely, Nevada is the Aspen. What Aspen is to Colorado, Ely is to Nevada. It's that beautiful, especially at the higher elevations. They've done a lot of work out there. If you're a mountain biker, if you want to get outdoors, if you want to get on the train, if you want to experience outdoor Nevada, check it out. Next, I want to talk about water levels just a little bit at Lake Mead. So we're in Las Vegas. Everybody comes to Vegas for Vegas. Most people don't know there's a lake 30 miles away from us. Hear me. If you live in Las Vegas, did you know that there is a lake, the largest man-made reservoir, not too far from you? You wouldn't believe the amount of people that I run into this town that don't know that. So A, there is a lake just 30 minutes away from you. Still the largest reservoir, landmass-wise, about the size of Disney World still, which put that in perspective in Florida. And this year coming up, the snowpack is currently only at about 60%. So there's going to be some yelling and screaming and people freaking out about what's going to happen because we're going to run out of water and doom and gloom. There is no doom and gloom. The lake will be there this summer and next summer and the summer after. So you might as well get familiar with that and come out and enjoy it. There are 4 main marinas to access Lake Mead, And then there's Lake Mojave below, which there's 3 main marinas to access that below. I will do an episode on the lakes and the marinas specifically when it gets a little bit warmer. And I will bring in some of the general managers from those properties. I'll bring in some of the park staff. We'll bring in hopefully some of the Bureau of Reclamation from the Hoover Dam to talk to you about the lake and what happens out there. Next on the list, speaking of the Bureau of Reclamation and Hoover Dam, there's a lot of remodeling going on at Hoover Dam. If you've ever visited Hoover Dam when you came to Las Vegas, you might want to think about visiting it again. So there are a lot of new interactive displays. There may even be some new content that's never been seen before at Hoover Dam. I know they just reopened the Monument Plaza, which you're going to have to go get your picture taken. The parking, the flow of the dam, everything, the elevators, everything's working again. It's flowing very well. The new security checkpoint that's in place. Very easy to get in and out of the Hoover Dam, regardless of what you've seen or heard. And then they also have a theater that they are working on, and I can't wait for it to be done. There's no completion timeline yet, but as soon as we have it, we will get it to you. So Hoover Dam, if you visited before, I would recommend it's probably about time that you visit it again. Perfect. So something else I wanted to talk about a little bit is I mentioned the Nevada Division of Outdoor Rec and Denise and the economic impact study that was done for the state. We have a lot to do. We want businesses to come to Las Vegas to do business. So if you're looking to come to Nevada to do business, reach out to me specifically. Right through the Vegas podcast, I will connect you in all the right ways. If you are currently in Las Vegas and you're doing business in outdoor recreation, there are a lot of resources for you, and there are a lot of connections that can be made to assist you in whatever you're looking for. And it's something that we do as well as the Nevada Division of Outdoor Recreation. So if you have anything to do with getting youth outdoors, or you have any programs, or you have any ideas, please contact me as well. There are grant programs, there are things that happen, and we want to put you in touch with those opportunities so that you can facilitate getting our kids out of the city and outdoors. Specifically, if you want to get them to Great Basin National Park. Now, we have 26 or 27 state parks. I think it may be 27 state parks. Number one on the list, or top of mind right now, is the Valley of Fire, because they just opened their new visitor center. So if you are a tourist coming in from anywhere in the world, get up to the Valley of Fire. Find a bus, rent a car, get up to the Valley of Fire, and go see that new visitor center. It's interpretive, it's engaging, it's interactive. It is truly an admirable project by the state. And I got to take a little sneak peek, and it was beautiful. Second to that, visitation-wise, Great Basin National Park, home of like dark skies. So Vegas, we have like the most light in the country. And then at the Great Basin National Park, we have like the darkest skies. So for stargazing enthusiasts, Great Basin is a big deal. I think that like ecotourism has an enormous following, there is a following for dark skies, and Nevada has quite a few of those places, not to mention Aviquame. If you haven't heard of Aviquame, it is just out towards Searchlight or south of Boulder City, Hoover Dam area. Aviquame has some history. I won't spoil it, but go out and check it out or look it up, and it's Aviquame. Dark skies, yes. Great Basin, dark skies, yes. Boulder City Adventure Center, working on dark skies designation, I believe. Adventure Center coming very soon. If you are outdoor recreation, if you are a tourist coming into Las Vegas, or if you, again, are a company in Las Vegas and you want to do business, the Adventure Center's in Northern Nevada, and there's an Adventure Center in Southern Nevada. Southern Nevada is in Boulder City. The Adventure Center, I stopped by today and I took some pictures on my way out to Hoover Dam. They're working on it. It was exciting. It gave me goosebumps to see it happening. I'm very excited to have a place to send everybody who lands on the Las Vegas Strip to a location. So like Red Rock, or like Prim, or the Jean Lake Bed, or like the Dune Buggies up north, or the hiking out at Lake Mead, or Hoover Dam, or skydiving, or the razor riding, or anything that you want to do outdoors. It's going to be available to you in Boulder City at the Adventure Center. And I can't stress that enough. I've said it before, I'm saying it again. Keep your eyes on the Boulder City Adventure Center. Google it, please. All right. So I've talked a lot about the things that are going on. The governor's conference was enjoyable. I think it's beneficial for those coming to Las Vegas and those who live in Las Vegas. I don't know that I would like people to understand the amount of opportunity there is in outdoor recreation. When we go to school and we think about jobs, I don't know that they ever teach us about outdoor rec. They might. Not sure if they do. And if there's any teachers out there that know, hit me up. Let's talk about it. But if you're young, look in the outdoor recreation space. There's a lot of opportunity. It's growing in Nevada. It's going to continue to grow in Nevada. We have the largest land mass of open land to recreate on. And there's going to be some positivity that comes out of that for you and your life, especially when you get to balance nature, like your health and your job at the same time, which is, I'm very grateful and find myself one of the most luckiest people on the planet to be able to get to do what I do and travel from state to state, West Coast, all of Nevada, enjoy the state national parks, meet the people that we get to meet, and do great things together. So that brings me to, I'm all over the place because that's who I am. Like I said, this is my therapy session. It's the way that I get to talk through what's happening and try and bring everything to you guys. That brings me to something else. The Nevada the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition. I've had Mandy on. Mandy's done a podcast. I'm telling you again, go watch her podcast. Mandy is brilliant. She's young. She's intelligent. She's a go-getter. She's going to make some change. And consider her a resource for small business or outdoor recreation business as well. And if you need that, seek it out. She will help you. Tipping. At the Nevada's Governor's Conference, the topic of tipping actually came up. There was a gentleman from the UK. I don't know his name. I could give it to you, but what does it matter? This is what I heard. He said that other countries, when looking at America, when they're seeing options to tip 20, 30, and sometimes even 40%, it's a little off-putting, is how I'm going to say it. We won't use his exact words, but people are starting to look at the way we present our ability to tip and how it's structured. I don't want to use the word gross, but at some point, it might be a little bit out of line. So I'm going to give you a personal story to that specifically. I'm just going to spitball here. We're going to talk about how I feel about tipping, which I'm sure I'm going to catch much flack for, but it's how I feel. It's what it is. I like to drink coffee. I frequent one of the local coffee shops, whichever the brand is for the day or I'm close to. And they put a pad out the window. And the first thing you need to do is tip. So you order at a drive-through, you come up to a window, someone hands a pad out the window, and it has a tipping amount. And the person is standing above you, or they're typically above you, or depending if you're in a truck, they're below you. And you have to make a decision while looking at this person that you haven't met, you've said 3 words to on a speaker, on how much you're going to give them as gratuity. Is it just me, Or does that create a moment of discomfort? Each time I do it, I have to think about is, do I want to pay more for this product because this person needs this tip because do they not get paid enough, or do they get paid enough? I don't know what they're paid. I could probably look into that. Does the company get the tips, or does the actual tip go directly to the barista for this specific tip? And being able to tip up to 30%, can we maybe have that removed? I'm just not sure in what world that's acceptable, or is it? Or is it one of those things where it's 100% my interpretation, and whether I think it's too much or not, someone else may not. So maybe some people tip 30% every time you go to a coffee shop, or 20%, or 10%. I get that the standard in the world is typically 20%, 10%, 20%, 10% if it's bad service, 20% if it's good service, 30% if it's off the charts maybe. I don't know. All I'm saying is that other countries stood up in front of a representative from another country stood up in front of our state representatives and people in the hospitality industry and said, it is being looked at. So just know that. Know that when we as hospitality executives that are serving not only people in the United States, which we're accustomed to tipping, but other countries who may not be accustomed to tipping, I guess don't be upset if someone doesn't tip, because other countries do have feelings about what that looks like. And I would just say, let's look at what we're doing there, be cognizant of it, be cautious of it, and think about what we're doing and why we're doing it, which would make me question. If some countries don't tip, are you losing out if they weren't tipping anyways? I don't know. That's a question. That was my week. That was the week for Vegas podcast. A lot on my mind, probably too much on my mind. Most of this will get cut in clips, but I want to tell you that I truly did enjoy interviewing those who came on here, which was amazing. Please go watch their episodes and add their music to your stuff. They were young and energetic and beautiful souls, all trying to make their way in the world. And I have some more upcoming episodes. I actually have some school teachers that came from California and have been here now for a while and are teaching that want to talk about some of the education stuff in Vegas, which we'll do. I also have a gentleman that reached out and wants to come on and talk about being a Californian who's recently moved here and the disconnect of people, how people feel about Californians moving here. And I thought that would be pretty interesting to hear, having been here for almost 30 years and, him being here for 2 or 3 years. I thought you guys might get a kick out of hearing what somebody's perspective is that moved here from California and the differences. I don't know. I thought it'd rile people up pretty good. And then I think the last thing that I want to talk about are 6 words. Get ready for this. When you're scrolling online, know that in today's environment, it's hard to know what to believe and what you see. You have to make a conscious effort to think about it. If you see something, don't just believe it. Don't just take anybody's word for it. Don't just trust your eyes and don't just trust your ears. You're going to need your eyes, your ears, and your critical thinking skills all at the same time. So let's do this. Number 1, truth. Everybody has their own truth. If someone tells you, I'm telling you the truth, it means that is their truth. It does not make it a fact. All right? A truth is something that somebody experiences that is true to them. If I tell you computer is gray, you probably see it as blue on the other side, but I may be colorblind. So my truth is that it is gray, and your truth is that you see blue, or it could be the opposite. So remember that when you're watching something or listening to something, and do your own research. So a truth is a truth. It's not a fact. A fact is a fact. You will very seldom hear me tell you this is a fact. I try not to state facts. Facts are very difficult. They take a lot of time to ensure that you get your facts right. I typically like to have other people on that have the facts, that spend a lot of time finding the facts and making sure that what they're saying they stand behind. All right? So if you ever hear me say this is a fact, it should be few and far between, or most likely we can back it up. But know that. Then there's my opinion. I don't know if any of you know who Rick Rubin is, but Rick Rubin is a pretty creative fellow. And if you don't know him, look up Rick Rubin. He's responsible for some of the best music of my time, a lot of people's times. And he said something, I heard him the other day, he said something on a podcast. He said, people follow people because of their opinions. Let that sink in for a second. I would agree with that 100%. You follow somebody because you hear them say something that you associate with, or they do something that you associate with, and you like that, or you connect with that. And then at some point, they continue to say things, and their opinion is something that you align with and follow. Okay, I'd like to think that's what this is. I have a lot of opinions. I'm not right or wrong. Maybe I'm both at any given time. I don't know anything more than the next person, but I know I enjoy doing this. I know I enjoy promoting Vegas. I know I enjoy promoting Nevada. I love the hospitality business, and I'm going to speak to it continuously, and I'm coming from that vein when I do it, and that is my opinion. My opinion on Vegas, my opinion on tipping, my opinion on the hospitality industry, my opinion on bartenders, on drinks made, ballet, casinos. They're my opinions, and that's what you're going to get. So if you want my opinions, come watch the Vegas podcast. If you don't want my opinions, you can go watch another podcast. But I would love for you to be here. So opinions, remember, that's just what they are. Observations. Observations aren't necessarily opinions, facts, or truths. Observations is something that I see. And I learned a secret about observations. I made an observation about myself. I tried to do one of these recordings and do a podcast for an episode, and I had a couple shots of whiskey. And then when I watched it back, I realized that I can't air it. And someone who drank for a lot of years and stopped drinking for a lot of years, I didn't realize what one shot or one drink or two drinks could actually do to you. I would actually say words. I meant to say one thing, and I said something else and didn't catch it until I watched it back on camera. So observation is important. I was able to watch back what I said and realize the mistakes that can be made when you're on camera. So if I make any mistakes on the podcast, or I say something that's not true to you, or not a fact, or I represent it as something that it's not, I'm okay with you calling me out with it, because I recognize that I make mistakes as well. And I saw that. And I don't know if it's just because I had had a few drinks, but I did realize very quickly drinking and being on camera is probably not a good idea. I don't recommend it. So anybody who's coming up in that space, be very careful with that. Perspective. Perspective's everything, right? How you view something. Everything has two sides. Which way do you want to look at it? Which side are you on? You could take the worst of the worst things in the world. I actually have a document that's called How to Make the World a Better Place. Don't ask me why I set out to do that, or want to do that, or kept a document on it. But I listed quite a few words: resources, morals, values, principles, knowledge, ethics, truth, perception, religion, science, war, drugs, sex, facts, data, and AI. Every single one of those has perspective. Who you are, where you're from, how you were raised, what you were taught, neurolinguistics programming, the filtering. This is a processor, right? So as we get into this Vegas podcast and do more and more, I just want to let you know, I do realize what truth is. I do realize what facts are. I do realize what my opinion is. I do realize observations, not, just this is what I saw. And I do understand perspective, and I do understand beliefs. So if we're talking in the comments, which I love engaging with you guys a ton, there's a lot of you that are very kind and love to have great forward motion conversations, and there are some that like to just blast and I guess they call them trolls, and they have fun, very intelligent trolls and witty trolls, by the way. But know that I'm never going to come back at you or attack you, because I have that understanding of all of these traits. I believe you do too, and I'm going to treat you like a human. There's a reason that I wear this. There's a reason that I am who I say I am. And I'm going to give you, from this Vegas podcast, everything from my perspective in the most moral and authentic way possible that I can give you. And I appreciate you for watching. I look forward to talking more. If there's something specific you want me to get into, out of all the things that I mentioned as we go along and these other interviews, or if you have somebody that wants to be interviewed, something about Vegas, a positive story, I'm here for it. Again, my name is Chad Taylor. This is the Vegas Podcast, VP of Las Vegas, creator and founder of the Mentor Empire. Subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you next time.